This user guidance will take you through how to set up a document template. Certain documents can be stored as templates within Toolkit CS, and these can be displayed and edited, but mostly when you're in the editor you're not able to print preview those documents. But we'll show you how to set the templates up within the editor in sort of part of the Explorer tree. So you may have seen these already and be familiar with the Explorer tree, but going back to Explorer there, you've got your templates folder, and we've got a number of templates already set up, sort of document templates that we've put together over time. And we do, when we sort of ship the product, we'll send some key ones out to you, like the notification, health and safety file, your pre-construction information, and the construction phase plan. You'll have a sort of default one of those sent with the product, and then we can sort of tailor that to your needs. The CDM projects, structures and linked documents can all be sort of created to display both static text that is entered into the document, as well as dynamic content from within CDM project or structure that they're attached to. Let's come back out to our project. I'll just go back to Toolkit Home and pick that up from my recent list. And going back into the project then, just opening up the documents. A number of documents again already created on here, but this process will take you through how to sort of set a new document from scratch. So just having a look, let's have a look inside this one. I'm just going to open that up in edit mode, so using the little pen icon on the right hand side. You can see that we've got greyed out areas here. That's the header and footer, so that's sort of grey, it's in a different form. And then we've got things like the report's logo. Notice as I click on it, it goes grey, and that's because it is filled with information. So this is the sort of dynamic content, which can include sort of simple information such as your project name, which we can see down here. That'd be the project name. The info display name here, that's filled with information, and that's would display the name of the document that we're building here. And local ID, again, you see the filled with information inside the wiggly brackets, and clicking in there, and just moving my mouse and left clicking on these to get to the fields. When you are in a field, let's take myself into this date field. If I try to sort of type in here, you get a message telling you can't type, and you might get an audible tone as well, indicating that you can't edit fields in that way. And to get out of the field, let's say I wanted to put another carriage return in here, perhaps I have to go out of the field by using the cursor keys on the bottom of your keyboard to go either left or right, or you can use the up and down ones to move around quicker as well. So the format of the document sort of template then is controlled via this editor that we're in, and look at the top here, it says you're in the Toolkit CS editor, so you know you're in edit mode, and again the filled with information in brackets tells you that's what you're in. Unlike the print preview mode, if I click on print preview, where this isn't a template yet, creating this document from within a project, which is where you should create yours initially, creating a print preview will pull the information from the project that I've already entered, like the header and footer just comes out with project name, the logos coming back here from that reports logo, and then we got the document name, local ID, project name, and the date that we saw in that edited field. And there's more pages below that. So I'm just going to close out of print preview and go back to my edit mode. So this document was a sort of templated document that was produced and sent as default with the product. And new documents are best created from sort of templates, and they can also then be sort of saved as templates themselves once you make them look and feel how you want them to look. So we're carrying on with sort of using this as a sort of basis for sort of new documents. These new documents are created using the document wizard initially. So let's just come out of here and let's see how that process works. So let's say I wanted to create a new document here, then I can right click in the white space under the documents here, new, and the new document wizard will start for us. Clicking on next to step through that. Again, it comes up and says, what do you want to create? I want this to be a project document after I've completed it. And again, there's other guidance on how to select other document types that you can follow to bring all of these types of document in. And it's defaulted to create from template. If you're bringing in a blank document, create from blank, or you want to create a blank document. Select the create blank document. In the back of there's still a sort of template. It's not a completely blank document. This will already have your sort of fonts and styles set up on it that again you've sort of asked for and we've helped you set up previously. So clicking on next, come up with document name. I'm just going to call it PCI for pre-construction information, and click next. Open document for editing, clicking on finish will do that. And there we are with our blank screen, but as I sort of mentioned, although it was brought in from a blank document, and there are features that are already set, like your ruler at the top here. You can see that your tabs and the layout of the document, your margins have all been sort of set up for you, and then you have a sort of fonts and styles are already set. It's defaulted to normal Times New Roman, and font of 12 has been selected. It's going to be left aligned. So all of that's been set up as default, and as we go through this process you'll see how you can sort of make changes to that default. So once we finish completing this template, it is possible to duplicate your templates and then perhaps tweak them, having a number of different PCIs with different projects that you may be undertaking. May work well for your organisation and be something that you'd like to do. Should anyone sort of inadvertently sort of delete the templates, the blank document template can be restored from your administrator, and again there's a button on the setup from the administration console that administrators will know how to do that. So a major feature of Toolkit CS is this word processing control. Then it gives you the sort of basic functionality to format your reports and letters as you would expect in any sort of major word processing package, but this one's within Toolkit CS. You can also sort of paste formatted text from your main word processing package directly into Word, or the word control here in Toolkit CS. So I've copied some text from a previous pre-construction information document, and I'm just going to right click in here and paste. Again, you Control C, Control V work as you'd expect, and it acts just like a Word and Microsoft Office sort of features of that package. So yes, your standard keyboard features work. You want it bold text, want it underlined, want it in italics. You can do all of that from the top editor here, and again play around with the text. It's been slightly indented there. I want to take it back out a level. Yeah, so you can play around with your layout as you deem fit. If you wanted it all in a different format, let's say Calibri, and want it Calibri sort of 12, we can make those sort of changes to suit. Okay, if we don't like that, we can undo with our undo keys as well. So as well as the usual changes to the font and styles that you'd expect from a word processor, within this document sort of editor, you also got a lot more sort of features and sort of functions that you wouldn't have on a standard word processor. One of those is the fielded information. So we've got no fielded information in here at the moment. As I come down the page, I did copy across some of these fields, but to put that in, let me just show you how to delete it. So I've got this field highlighted and got the delete option there, so I'm just going to delete the field, and that's gone now. But to make use of the fielded information, clicking on insert field will display a list of fields that you can add in, and it knows that I'm in a project, so it's provided me with those specific to projects, and it's set out in sort of alphabetical order that you can sort of scroll down to find what you're after. So we had a principal, and it was the project client that we're looking at the moment. Okay, again, just getting used to these and finding the right one would be sort of through experience, but I can tell you that the project client pick up that information from the project that you've already created during the wizard, and pull that information, that dynamic information, from the project client, and at the moment it's saying put in the organisation, which is in sort of capital letter for O for the organisation, and then I want to see in brackets afterwards the name of the client. So lowercase n will bring the name back. If I wanted to see the person first and then the organisation, lowercase n for the name, brackets, and a capital O for the organisation. We didn't want the organisation, just wanted the person and job title, lowercase n and lowercase j. That's the rules really on the sort of format here of the fields. Lowercase is pertaining to the person. Uppercase is generally the information, or is the information that's coming back from the organisation database and the information that you added about that organisation previously via the wizard for adding organisations at the start of your setup process. If I wanted to add the address and postcode, you see we're back to a capital A and a capital P, so that's the organisation's address and postcode, and then the telephone. That's a lowercase t, telling me it's the person's telephone rather than the organisation's. If I wanted the organisation's telephone there, simply changing that to a capital T will achieve that for us. We'll put that back to a T there. If I wanted their mobile number or their email, you can see the same formats going through here with the different sort of letters that relate to those communication types. So we're going to select the organisation person. In this one we'll see again how that populates when we go back to print preview in a little while. These are commands. Adding these fields in this way allow you to sort of change a standard template document supplied with Toolkit CS to include the fields that you want on your reports. And it's very much, if you're familiar with Microsoft Word mail merge, it's working on that same sort of principle. So from earlier we sort of saw how by clicking on the field name, I'm now stuck in there until I use my cursor to either get out, or I can use a mouse to click outside. I've done that with the mouse, it puts me to the end of the field, but I still need to use a cursor to step outside of that field. And then I'm moving my left cursor back into it, highlights it grey, and you know that your cursor is within that field and you can't edit that as it is. However, notice how below we got this sort of writing here, principals, client, organisation. To make that sort of similar looking, I can double click in here to open the editor, and this is how that page looks. The display is what is displayed on here, as you can see. So I'm going to make changes to that to make it look like the one below. Making sure I don't delete the wiggly brackets at the end, either end, as that's what's sort of driving that to tell it it's fielded information, otherwise it'll just be a piece of text there. The name information here is where that's pulling the information from, so that's all programmed in the background, telling it to say, so I'm using this field that needs to pull the relevant information from the organisation and person, and in particular the client ID type from the project that we've entered before, and the format we saw as we entered it is exactly the same as we saw. And we could then change that now. If I didn't want the name on there, I could take that N off, but we'll put that back on. And it's just a case of typing in here to make changes to those records. Clicking OK, it changes your display as we asked it to, and that's how that's sort of looking at the moment. How's it looking print preview? I'll go right to the top of the page, but if I just page down, we get there and it's picked up the organisation and the named person. Closing back out of that then and back to our editor, we can carry on and edit other fields as we see fit.